Hey everybody, I'm Jesse and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about my bug out bag. I have a bug out bag on a very slim budget, right? So I figured that maybe there are other people out there who are interested in a bug out bag, maybe making a bug out bag, but maybe you don't think you have enough money or whatever, you know. But when we're talking about survival in survival situations, I think it's important. And if Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Helene and these other disasters have shown us that you might need a bug out bag, even if it's not like a world-ending apocalyptic situation, it can be a more localized emergency situation, but still you might have to go 50 miles on foot or something in order to survive. So and living here in Florida, we're constantly under the threat of a hurricane every year, not constantly year round, but we have a hurricane season, but every year we're under the threat of a hurricane. We don't know if one's going to boil up out there in the Atlantic and come ripping through here. That's the main reason I keep a bug out bag. And the thing is that even if something like that happens, you don't know, if you're going to have to go a couple blocks to get out of the affected area, and get back to civilization or to find safety for you and your family, or if you're going to have to go 300 miles. It could very well be something like that kind of situation. So it's very important, in my opinion, to be prepared for these scenarios, right? For an emergency situation. And you can do that on a budget, and I'm living proof of that. Not saying I'm hyper prepared, but I am somewhat prepared. My only constraint is my budget, but I've thrown together this kind of small budget bug out bag. It's a work in progress. I'd like to add more to it and upgrade some stuff, and I will as I go along eventually. But I'm going to go through it and show y'all some stuff and show y'all why I chose this item or whatever. Mostly I'll be upfront and honest. Most of the choices were because of price. They were cheap, so I got them, but they're still functional and possibly life-saving. All right, and then we'll talk about stuff as I go through this. Talk about stuff that should be in there that is not in there yet, and upgrades that I could make, and stuff like that, and stuff that will be added, but I don't have them in the bag now. They're a little bulkier. Sleeping bag, sleeping mat, stuff like that. I'll just tie that shit onto the top or something like that in the event of an evacuation situation. All right, so without further ado, I'll get my bag here, and y'all saw it. That was actually a picture of it on the thumbnail, but this is it. This is my bug out bag. All right, and obviously right off the bat, the bag itself could be upgraded, but two things. Number one, I don't have the money just to order a brand new, $200-300 bug out bag. I can't afford that. Number two, I don't really have the time. I don't really have the money to buy a decent used one, or the time to shop for one. You know what I'm saying? So right now I got to get what I can afford, and this thing was affordable. It was, I forget what I paid for it. Was on sale. I got it on clearance sale or something and paid like $10 for it. You know what I mean? But it's better than nothing. So in my opinion, anything, when you're talking about survival, anything is better than nothing. I'd rather have a t-shirt and shorts on rather than standing out there bare ass naked. So anything is better than nothing. So and that's kind of my philosophy. At least I have something, you know what I'm saying? So what do we have here? Right off the bat, all right, here's a good example. Now this is a Klein, it's actually a tool This is a duct with a T, a duct knife. I got it at Lowe's. It was on clearance sale. It's actually a tool that they use to cut ductwork with. You know, air conditioning guys use it to cut ductwork. But it's a good quality blade, sturdy handle, well made, well, you know, it's well seated. It just feels good and solid. You know, it's a quality tool with a steel butt there for pounding. So and I like the shape of it. The shape of it, if you can see it here, it's serrated on one side slightly. I don't know if, let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see it there in the light, but it's not a heavy serration along this edge, but it's very slight, almost like a hacksaw, right? And then the other side is just, you know, a knife blade. But I like the shape of it. It's shaped like a spear or something, right? So it's not curved or anything like that. It's a tool. So you can use it for digging, or, you know, I mean, you could tie this thing to a pole and use it to spear fish or frogs or something. This thing has multiple uses. It's, like I said, it's a tool. It's not, I mean, I know it's a knife, but it's not made to act like a pocket knife or whatever, you know. It's not made for skinning deer or animals or anything. It's made to be a tool. So, but I got this on clearance sale at Lowe's. I paid probably less than $10 for it, but it's a good quality tool. I just snatched it up when I saw it on clearance sale and threw it in my bag. But stuff like that you might not, you know, you might not think of right off the bat, that would be a high quality and functional addition to your bug out bag. Stuff like this. All right, what else we got here? Okay, another handy item, which most, you know, if you have a bug out bag, and you might be interested in this video just in case, you know, you run across shit like this. I mentioned stuff like this that you might not think of if you already have a bug out bag. But this paracord is just a staple. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you have a bug out bag, you know what a bug out bag is, and you have a bug out bag, you've got paracord, is what I'm saying. But for those of you who don't know, paracord is just the most versatile and useful kind of, you know, tying and snaring and shit like that. It's just useful for all kinds of shit. So paracord, I forget how many feet this is, 100 or so, maybe 200, shit, I forget. But I got this paracord. I think I got this at Lowe's too. It was probably on sale. But paracord, just many uses. I'd like to have even some more of this in my bug out bag. So that's definite useful item there. Just you can you know, cut short strands of it and tie stuff to your bug out bag and let shit hang on the outside of it if you have the inside full. It's just very useful stuff. Replacement shoestrings. If your shoestring breaks, you can use paracord. There's just all kinds of uses for that stuff, right? If your buttons break on you can lace it up with paracord if you have a button-down shirt. I mean, literally endless. So paracord. If you're new to bug out bags and that kind of stuff, and you want to get started, that's one of the first things you get. Throw some paracord in there, right? And for me, my bug out bag is kind of a hobby. You know, I want useful survival equipment in there, but it's also kind of a cool thing I do, you know, like the Klein duck knife. I'll find something interesting and cool on sale, but like, man, that'd be a good addition to my bug out bag. You know, it's kind of like collecting comic books or something. So it could be life-saving one day, and it's also just enjoyable. It's enjoyable way to collect things, you know, so kind of a hobby. All right, what do we have next? Okay, next we have, I've just got a kind of a little blanket here. I'm not going to pull it all out and show y'all, but it's just one of those little throw blankets. You know, it might be used for a pillow or several different things. You know, you can use this for additional warmth or whatever. Like I said, you know, sleeping bags and And sleeping pads are separate. Those are bigger items. They don't go inside the bag. But an extra blanket, you know, it takes up very little space. It's light. It's not heavy. So I just threw it in there. This is one of the things, though, that once my bag gets completely full, if I find something more useful, this would be one of the first things I take out. You know what I mean? Snatch this out of here and throw it to the side and put something more useful in there. But for now, you never know, you know, you never know what might happen, and having this in the bug out bag might, you know, at least give me more comfort, if not life-saving, you know. So all right, next up we have, oh yeah, very important, this came up during a live stream a week or so ago, a day or so ago, but this is my steel wool. Okay, steel wool, just basic generic steel wool from, you know, from wherever you get it from, Walmart, Lowe's, whatever. Couple of, this is excellent for starting fires. Just, this is the best shit in the world, especially if you're using, you know, like flint and steel or whatever, striking sparks. This stuff is invaluable because it's so tiny. I know it's hard to understand because it's metal. It literally is metal. You have to keep it dry. That's why I keep it in this bag so it doesn't rust. It will rust, and you'll go in there, you know, you have this in your bug out bag for a year and go through there and check stuff out, and you'll have a bag of rust because you didn't seal it up well enough. But the steel is so fine, you know, the little strands of steel, that they will catch on fire. And that's what is hard to duplicate. You can duplicate it with like strands of dried grass or paper or something like that, but you almost have to get a mortar and pestle and break it down into its tiny little fibers to get this kind of fire starting ability that you have with flint and steel. It's just a lot more work, and it just takes a little bit of that stuff, you know, to start a fire. So I figure I have enough there to start, you know, maybe 20, 30 fires. And by that time, hopefully I've figured something else out, you know, by the time I run out of that. Or maybe I've resupplied my flint and steel. So, there. All right, next I have the old standby wrist rocket. All right. So, why do I have a wrist rocket? Well, it's supposed to lock in there. Oh, no, it doesn't lock. Okay. Wrist rocket. Now, number one, it's super light. This is aluminum. The bracing bars here are steel, but the grip here is aluminum, and so it's super light. This thing is strong enough. It's got three rubber strands. It's strong enough to take down, you know, small game, a rabbit, a squirrel, whatever, large cockroaches. And it's one of those things I don't really plan on surviving off of this, but it's literally so small and so light that why not have it in the bag? You know what I'm saying? It was one of those kind of things. Why not? So, and I got this again. I got this super cheap. I probably paid $3 for this or something. You know, I got it on sale. And it might not last forever, but it doesn't have to. I only need it, you know, until I can either get something to upgrade it or just get through a few days in a certain situation or whatever. This isn't like a long sustainable answer to any survival question. This is emergency, you know, 2 or 3 days. I might get lucky and score a squirrel or a rabbit or something. So, but it's so light that it's worth it. It's worth having it around. And that is my wrist rocket. So, let's see what else we got in here. Oh yeah, just a bunch of spare rubber bands for the wrist rocket that came with it. Magnesium fire starter. This is magnesium. You can get these anywhere, Walmart, Amazon, Timu, whatever the hell that place is. Just about anywhere you can get these things in the camping section. They just come in handy, you know. I mean, but the way I look at it is that I want things that I know are going to last, you know, last a while at least. A lighter will work for a while, but eventually it's going to run out. And, you know, trying to find another lighter or something is tough. But, you know, stuff like this is going to last a very long time. You know, I don't know how many lighters I would go through before I wore this thing out. Probably 20 or 30 lighters. And I've got more of this stuff in here. I'll show you. I've got some magnesium rods. They're light. They're super light. They don't take up about as much room as a lighter and make fire starting easier. A lot of my stuff is based on starting fires and different things. Just a box of matches, just in case. You never know. I threw this is actually a Craftsman magnifying glass here, and this was on sale at Lowe's again. It's a tool I bought at Lowe's, and I was like, again, it's super light, and I don't know, in an emergency situation, it might come in useful. Like I said, it'll be one of those things, but it's so small and takes up so little room, and it's so light. I mean, why not? Why not just throw it in there? You never know. You can start fires with these things. You might be able to, check out wounds better with these things. There are different uses for some of these things. Probably in the emergency situation, when you're in the situation, you will figure out uses that you would never think of, just sitting here on the couch. So, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, another fire starting kit, the flint and steel thing. This one has a whistle built into it. Again, it's just so light and small. I mean, why not just throw it in there? Why not just have extras, that kind of situation. This, a little pouch. I don't have anything in it yet, but again, it came with something. I forget. It might have just come with my bug out bag, but this. You can just attach it to your belt and put extra, ammo for the slingshot or whatever in there. It's just a little pouch for carrying shit. What else do we have? Do we have anything else here? More fire starting stuff. I've got extra shot for the slingshot. That's the slingshot ammo. Extra knives. This is just a crescent that I keep down in there. Got another little knife down in there just in case, but this would be this one here, quality knife, not top of the line, but quality. Not the cheapest thing imaginable, but this would be better for cleaning a fish or something, shit like that. So have that in there. Alright, I think that's about it as far as that goes. And a couple of these like plastic. This is those nicotine pouches, but I keep a couple of empty plastic containers. You never know. I might be able to put some worms in here to go fishing, or some ammo. Although the ammo would be kind of loud in there, but just little containers like this. You never know. I got a couple of these in here that might just come in handy. So that is basically the extent. I've got some doubles in here. I've got a few more of those, the magnesium stuff. There's more ammo for the slingshot in there, stuff like that. But basically, that's it for right now. Now I'm adding to it as I go along. But the point of this video is to show y'all, if you're interested in that, number one, it can be fun, and you can do it on a serious budget. I mean, I've probably got $50 in the whole thing. Everything I showed you, I probably got $50 wrapped up in it total, all told. So, and that, I've been able to do that without, stressing my bills, just one thing here and there, and over time picking stuff up. And hopefully one day I'll be able to upgrade, get a better bag, get a real rucksack. I'd like the standard Army issue rucksack and get some, just upgrade everything. I mentioned that before during a live stream. I need a real quality first aid kit, like a trauma kit. I want a trauma kit, like the first aid kit I used to carry in the Army as a combat lifesaver. I would like to have something like that, and I need to figure out some kind of water thing, some way to carry water. I don't want to carry water on my hips. I've done work in construction and wore tool belts on my hips, and I just know what that's like after several days or several hours of walking and stuff, and that shit gets miserable. So I'd like to get an LBE or something, and some kind of water containment system so I can transport some water with me. Maybe probably some kind of water filtration thing. Number one, you've got to, when you look at those, you've got to get one that you trust. All right, it's got to be quality, because you're basically trusting your life on that. Like that cheap fire starting shit I have. If it doesn't work, then I might sleep in the cold one night. But it's not literally life or death most times. But still, when you're looking at that stuff, magnesium is magnesium. Steel is steel. So cheap magnesium still burns and starts fires as good as high quality magnesium. If there is such a thing between cheap and high quality magnesium. You slap a name brand on it and they charge more for it, when you can get the same shit, some of that stuff, you can get the same shit at just rock bottom prices, and it's the exact same thing. So if you get the high dollar magnesium or the fire starting kits and stuff, yeah, okay, I get it, but the cheap ones will start fires just as well, in my opinion. I've been starting fires with them, I practice with them, and they work great. So I'm happy with the cheap ones. But so far as that goes, some of that stuff you just can't cheap out on. Your water filtration system, in my opinion, you need a good one, and they can be expensive. And that's not really like a rucksack either. This bag might fall apart, after a couple weeks or whatever, but it's not going to be life or death. Hopefully I can replace it by the time that comes. Hopefully I'll have found a replacement for it or whatever, if this is my bug out bag during an emergency situation. But like I said, the water filtration system, if it's cheap and it doesn't do its job, you're going to die. You know what I'm saying? Or at least get very sick. So yeah, that's something that needs to be quality. And there are some of those things that need to be quality. So it's difficult to cheap out on, and that's the main reason I don't have them yet, is because they're expensive, and it's just the last thing on my list. And then the other thing is that with some experience and a little know-how, you can purify water. You know what I mean? Unless it's like irradiated and shit, then I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about bacteria and stuff like that. You can purify water with natural resources, and boiling it and stuff. So that's not the end of the world not to have a water filtration system. It's more convenient, but it's not the end of the world. Let's see. Other than that, I'd just like to say that, having a bug out bag, there doesn't have to be any kind of stigma to it or anything. It's perfectly normal. It just gives me peace of mind knowing that if shit hit the fan, whether locally or, across the country or across the globe, no matter what situation it is, I've got a certain amount of preparedness, you know. I'm able to leave if I have to. I'm able to, provide for my family, keep them warm, and protect them to some degree or another as we travel. That kind of thing. It puts my mind at ease, having that ability to get mobile and still provide. So that's where I'm at with that. Number two, like I said, it's just a hobby, It's fun. It's fun looking for shit like that. Will that go in my bug out bag? Shit, that shit looks cool. What kind? And then you think of ideas. What can I do with this? What kind of situation would this be helpful in? And if you can't think of anything useful to do with it, then hell, that's not going in your bag, But that's part of the fun of having a bug out bag and doing that whole thing. It's a hobby as well. So you can have fun with it at a budget, as I have proven here today, and have some peace of mind. So that's basically my message today. If you're thinking about, maybe you want a bug out bag, you can do it on a very limited budget. You don't need hundreds or thousands of dollars. I honestly believe that if not, for an extended period of time, I can keep myself and my family, relatively safe and alive with just a few things I have in my bug out bag now. Until, while I'm out there doing whatever, hopefully I will find, upgrades and additions to this stuff, because depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing. But at least this is a start, At least I won't be just walking off into the wilderness buck-ass naked and leaving it in the hands of fate. This is a start. So, and that's exactly what it is. It's a work in progress. Like I said, a lot of that stuff will be upgraded, and some will be replaced, but definitely a lot more will be added to it over the years. All right. So, if you have a bug out bag and you have some cool ass thing, like I pointed out with my duck knife, if you have some cool ass thing that isn't normally a bug out bag edition but works very well as a bug out bag edition, if you have something like that in your collection, let us know in the comments. Hell, share that information with people so we can look for something similar or maybe the exact same item. These are popular items at Lowe's. I've seen them up there many times. They're usually about $15 or something, I think, $15 to $20, something like that. But like I said, I got this one for less than $10 because I caught it on clearance. But put that down in the comments if you have some interesting shit in your bug out bag, something that it wouldn't normally be thought of but would be very valuable in an emergency situation. Share that with us. Let us know. I want to know. And if you're thinking about getting a bug out bag and starting one, I just want you to know you don't have to spend a fortune. You can start out small, and literally your bug out bag can be this big. You know what I mean? You can just get one of those little hip pouches. Start with that. Put a little $5 fire kit in there and start there. And just improve as you can afford it. Upgrade your stuff as you go. So you can definitely do that. You can definitely start on just about any budget. You know what I mean? So hope y'all found this interesting. I hope all of y'all got some good information out of it, honestly. But this video was specifically made for people who don't have a bug out bag, haven't started one yet because they don't think they have enough money. So I just wanted to let people know that anything is helpful in a survival situation. I mean, a damn sharp stick is better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to start small and work within a budget. And no matter what the budget is, $3, $4, $5 will get you started. And that's not an exaggeration. Okay, I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. Get your name on the banner here, and I appreciate every single person that supports the channel, so thank you very much. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can hit the hype button. That's a new thing that Google and YouTube are doing for small channels, so I appreciate it if you'd hit the hype button. That's an awesome thing. Thank you very much to those of you who do that. If you're interested in Gen X gear, Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, I got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. But I'll put that link down in the description too for any of you who are interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out one hell of a lot, and I want to thank everyone who does that. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Things, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.